Hi, I'm Mr. Franklin, and welcome to the week of November 9th, 2020. In this video, I'm going to run down this week's assignments, and this week is a pretty unusual week as far as our schedule because of the holiday in the middle of the week. Normally, I just do block 1 and block 2, but I am going to do the block 3 and block 4 as well, just to make sure it's clear what we're doing. So I'm going to do a general overview, and then we'll jump into details in just a minute. So we're going to start off on Monday. We're going to do some vocabulary, learn new vocabulary words. We're going to take some video notes on the introductory stuff about waves. Waves is about the transmission of energy, and so that's why we're going there next. Tuesday, we are going to have a Zoom for block 1 and block 2, and it's going to be mostly work time. And that work time is going to be spent working on your quarter project. And we're going to actually jump into and do our final write-up for TED number 1. And I'll explain that more in a minute. You're also going to have a catch-up day. So there are lots of you that need to catch up. And so we're going to give you some time to do that. Wednesday, there is no school. So there's no Zoom. There's no tutorial. It's Veterans Day. But that would be an excellent day to finish your quarter project or catch up on any work that's missing. On Thursday, you're going to have our Zoom where it's going to be more traditional Zoom. We're going to talk about waves, and then you're going to do your waves homework. On Friday, there will be a vocab quiz. There are generally 2 sections to our vocab, well, 3, I guess. There's usually like the basic stuff, and then there's like more of an advanced and application kind of section of vocab. So this is just going to be about the basics that you've seen in the video notes. So if the word isn't in the video notes, you're probably not going to see it. You're not going to see it on the vocab quiz. Then you're going to have your weekly reflection. So speaking of weekly reflection, part of this reflection is making a plan for the week. So you really should sit down and make a plan for the week. In part because there's a lot of open time for you to get some work done, and there are a lot of you that are missing stuff. So just saying, oh, I'm going to do that, I'm just going to do some work that day, I promise you, the more you write it down, the more likely you are to actually catch up and get some work done. So I would be specific. I would say I'm going to work on 4.2.5 because I didn't do that yet. And then I'm going to work on 4.2.6 on Wednesday. And then on Friday, I'm going to do 4.3. Okay. Try to be specific, and I think it'll help you get some stuff done. But it's really important you try to get caught up, because while it is only the progress report, it is the progress report card that's coming out. Grades are due this Friday. So make sure you're jumping in there and getting things turned in as best you can. And if you have any problems or questions, you can email me. So let's take a quick look at block 3 and block 4. And usually there's a couple of things that are switched around, but this time it's pretty much the same schedule. Waves vocabulary, then Waves video notes, and then Tuesday, we're going to jump into your quarter project kind of on your own, catch-up day on your own. Then we'll continue working on the quarter project, catch-up day, and then you're going to have some Waves homework. So I'm not going to see you until Friday unless you come to tutorials. So I am going to have tutorials on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, so you can come to those if you need to. But you'll finish it up as normal. Okay, great. So let's jump into our assignments, and I'll give you some more details. Waves vocabulary. Standard file, make a copy, and then rename it to your name. And then make something to study your words by following the directions in the document. When you finish, either turn in the document directly or print the PDF and turn in the PDF. So let's take a look. We click on our link here. We've got our document. First thing you should do is file, make a copy, change the name to your name, not my name, 5.1.1, and you could say vocab if you wanted to, and then click OK. And now you would have your own copy to type in. Next thing is you can go ahead and put your name, fill in the block, but you have your new vocab list. So your new vocab list, this should be the Waves vocab list, and it is. So we have amplitude, we have wavelength. This is a Greek letter called lambda, which hopefully your notes will get into, but it's basically, to write it, it looks like an upside down Y. Another way to write it is like a like a little squiggly L, but then you put a little kickstand so it doesn't fall over, okay? So that's one way to write it. It's the Greek letter lambda, L-A-M-B-D-A, okay? So yes, we will be using that, but it's hard to type, so we're gonna be doing a lot of handwriting. All right. You got period, which we've actually had before, but it's specifically about waves. So it is slightly, it's the same, but it can appear different because you're not used to it in this context. Frequency, medium, propagation, Doppler effect, reflection, refraction, diffraction, interference. So basically Doppler effect, reflection, refraction, diffraction, interference, those are the application words that I was mentioning earlier that will be on, that we will focus on next week, okay? So you should still study them and start studying them because they are not easy, okay? Because they're unusual. But definitely this top half, that's gonna be on your quiz, it's gonna be in your video notes. Okay, so notice the quantities and table. You should make a table of this in your notes. So like on a test, you should be able to flip back to that and refer to it and not have to mess up units or worry about what you're looking at, okay? So amplitude, generally we use the letter H because it's the height of a wave, okay, in general. And it's usually measured in meters. Wavelength, the lambda, meters. Frequency is lowercase f. Notice force is uppercase F, frequency is lowercase f. So you got to be careful. And the units is hertz. Period is capital T, but it's measured in seconds. Speed of a wave, we use the letter V. Sometimes when we use the letter C, in some documents you'll see the letter C. C by itself is usually the speed of a wave of light, and it's a constant, it's a very specific number, but there's also C sub S, which is the speed of sound, all those kinds of things. But so we're just gonna use V for now and know that in either case, it's measured in meters per second. So those are your words. So what you should do is you should tell me, what are you gonna make? Are you gonna make flashcards? Are you gonna make a foldable? Okay. Are you gonna make a Quizlet or Kahoot? And if you want help knowing how to make any of these other things, you can come see me during tutorial time and I can help you certainly make those. I think either a Quizlet, Kahoot, or flashcards are probably the best. I personally would recommend flashcards because the act of handwriting it is actually better for your brain. But please, when you finish, insert a picture or a screenshot of what you've put together. If it's a Kahoot or Quizlet, you can even share the link with me. And that way I can take a look. You should also make a copy of the table of variables and units. What is your study plan? You're gonna look at them once a day, once a night, but whatever you plan, you should commit yourself to doing and put it in your planner. All right, that's our vocabulary assignment. You could either go down to the bottom and click next, or you could go to the agenda, click the link, wave types and parts video. Once again, these questions, I'm not looking for you to answer these questions. If you can look at your notes, if you like watch the video and take notes, that's what I would do first. If you can answer questions by looking at your notes, then you have taken good notes, okay? If you just write the answers to these questions later on, we're gonna ask you some different questions and you may have some struggle. So these are the essential questions, but they are not the only questions.
It's on the video. Do that.
Okay, so this is one of Mr. Bimke's videos. It's a great video. Steps through all kinds of things about waves. There's some of it that you may have seen before, but there's quite a bit of it that you may not have ever seen before. It's really cool. He plays sound, shows colors of lights, all kinds of different things. So really take your time and watch through that. Don't forget though, you can pause him at any time. You can change the playback speed. So there are some places where I might actually speed him up. There are some places I might actually slow him down. Also, if house is crazy, you can turn on English subtitles and it will subtitle it for you. If you need it in a different language, you can also do the auto translate and select your language of preference. So just a hint for doing that. So watch the video, take great notes, And then when you finish, you should check your notes by asking these questions. Do you have this in your notes? Because he talks about how do we create a pulse? What's a continuous wave? He draws a wave, okay? When you get down here, this one is not necessarily written in your notes, but you're gonna have to use the notes to figure out. Just remember though, these are a guide to the notes and not the notes themselves, okay? All right, let's go back to our agenda. So that's Monday. On Tuesday, we're gonna have our Zoom and we're gonna do work time on our quarter project. So when we go to our quarter project, okay, this is not an assignment. This is a page. And so you might actually skip it, but that's not going to help you. But if you click here, this will send you to the quarter project instructions. So I have not completed the video yet, but I'm about to. I will make a video that's separate from this video that goes through all the details of the quarter project that you will basically be set free to work on, okay? So that will be linked here. Also, there is a link in this assignment for TED number 1. So this is the final write-up to TED number 1, quarter project TED Ed number 1, final draft. So here's the template. So you're gonna open up the template, which I'll explain in the instructions, file, make a copy, and then you can rename it. And then for more instructions, you're gonna go to the instructions page, which is the page I just showed you, and you're gonna click and watch the video on the quarter project. So be real careful with that. Make sure that you're going to the right place, okay? And watching what it says, okay? And I'm gonna come back to that here at the end here. On Thursday, you have your waves homework. So basically don't forget to file, make a copy, and then rename it. And then you're going to have basically a bunch of questions. There's one where you have to draw a wave, label amplitude, wavelength, and frequency, okay? A lot of these come straight out of the video notes, okay? So make sure you're taking good notes. That should be pretty simple though, pretty straightforward. If you've taken good notes, that should not take you too long. So part of this whole thing though is, if you finish that and you're done, then you should be working on something you haven't finished. Okay, you should be catching up. That's the whole reason why this week is actually quite a bit lighter than what we've been doing, is to give you a chance to catch up. So make sure you're doing that. There will be a vocab quiz. It will be the wave basics, the wave parts. You should be able to draw a wave. You should be able to pick out wavelength, amplitude, frequency. You should be able to talk a little bit about transverse and longitudinal waves, as well as sound and light, just very briefly. And then your weekly reflection. So this is another one, file, make a copy, and rename it. For your reflection, first thing I want a copy of your planner. So whatever you're using for your planner, make sure you take a picture and then go to insert, image, and then upload that and insert it into the box. And then tell me what are you having problems with, okay? And then also here are reminders about what kind of help you need to get. So make sure you're filling that out and thinking about it seriously. The more information you give me, that actually it affects how I plan. So we're starting a new unit. We're also trying to catch up and talking about grades. So fill in those things. Let me know how things are going for you so I can make good adjustments to the next week with my plan to help you out. All right. So that brings us to the end of the week. So last thing that I want to show you is, so this has all been from the agenda page. But as you know, we work in modules. So you could, of course, go click, 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 module by module. Just notice this one is not an assignment. It is a page, okay? But it has very important information. What I have also added though, and it'll be in a different place in your class, but what I've added is the quarter project module. So you'll be able to go and find a Q2 quarter project module. Here's the instructions page that I just talked about. So it's going to have the video link. Here's TED number 1 final draft. So you're going to click on that, and it has, this is where you will turn in the final draft for TED number 1. Okay. And it'll be set to be due by Friday, but you should not be working on it on Friday. You should be working on it on Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay. So that you can turn it in by Friday. The earlier you turn it in, the less you have to worry about it. I believe that concludes this video. What I will do in another video is I will explain the quarter project instructions. All right. Have a good week. Make sure that you are catching up, and that if you need tutorial help, it's Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday is when I'm available. All right. That's all I've got, and I will see you next time.